Does everyone have everyone at their team? Who was part of their team originally? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to begin the 1% formally. This is, we have two visitors here with us. Here we have Raymond and Linda over here. And I believe we have one more individual coming, Bryna. As you can see, for the observers, we do have the tape which outlines the areas that you can go through. There's a pathway down the middle so you can see any one of the tables if you'd like. There is filming and photography, which none of you are surprised about, but just wanting you to make aware. And if for some reason you need to use the bathroom, just let the supervisor know and we'll go ahead and escort you out, and you will come back around to the front again because we're going to continue the 1% tally. So just a quick description here. You've already witnessed the random selection of the precincts. We did that last week. On Wednesday at 10, we are going to select the additional precincts that weren't covered by the 17 precincts that we selected. So if you're interested in attending, Holly and I will be doing that together. And let's see, we have 13 teams who will be tallying 3-member boards. 8 teams of 3-member boards that will be tallying. And Holly's going to describe the actual tally process to you. I've given you the actual procedure of what we do. It outlines how we selected the random precincts, also how we record each of those contests, the selection of the additional precincts, so that's on page 3. And then we did prepare for the manual tally by creating the tally sheets. And then we'll be conducting the manual tally. This morning we did just a quick review of what we were going to be covering with each of the teams. Most of the people in this room have done it previously. However, we have some that are just doing it for the first time. So there will be questions that will come up and will be answered by the supervisor and also Deborah if necessary. Also, just to mention, we have Patty Figueroa, who is one of our recruitment supervisors. We have Holly Davidson, overall supervisor, and we have our brand new staff member, Erica Santana, who's actually in our training section, but is helping us out with the 1%. Let's see here. I think I'm going to turn it over to Holly to describe the process, and then I'll let her say a few words of how we're doing this a little differently as interpreting this as the machine would count versus voter intent. So I think it's just important to mention that. So Holly, could you describe the process? And the materials on the table.
Yeah. Every team has 2 tally sheets. So 2 people will be tallying on the tally sheet, and 1 person will be calling the ballot. And what they begin with is, first of all, we count the number of ballots. So we start the process with the reader saying ballot, and the talliers will mark a slash in the ballot column and say 1 and check. That tells the reader they can go on to the next item, which is to tell the readers what type of ballot it is. In this case, it's a Republican ballot. And so the talliers can now find their place on the tally sheet for the Republican contest. They call the candidate's name, and the tallier will say 1, check. And then the reader knows they can go to the next contest, which after the presidential race, it's all propositions. So they call 91. Yes, no. And we're counting the number of votes for a candidate. We're counting the blanks, so there's no vote. And we're counting overvotes, which means if they mark 2 candidates, or on a proposition if they mark yes and no. We need to note that. You can raise your hand if you come across that your first time, okay? So we're counting the candidates. We're counting the number of ballots. We're counting the number of votes cast, whether it's for a candidate, yes or no on the propositions, and also the blanks or the other votes. And as ballots are brought to your table, we have some on the table already. On your tally sheet, you need to record the precinct, and we're also going to sign that too. We're signing these ballots out to your table and your team, the date and the time that you got it. What you're going to get first are precinct ballots. On this card, this one here, are all the precinct ballots, the ballots that were cast at the poll. So we're going to do those ballots first. And when you get to the end of that stack, you're going to put a little mark on for each race on your tally sheet that shows you're at the end. You're going to raise your hand, and the supervisor is going to come over with the report. And we have a report for the poll ballots, and they're going to check to see if you're on track. So you're going to read to the supervisor what you've come up with, and they're going to say yes or no. And so if you get a no, you're going to retally whatever that race is. Once you're done with the poll ballots, then we'll do the absent or the mail ballots. And we have a report for that, and then we have an overall report which combines all ballots cast for that precinct and that were tallied on election night. What happens if your count doesn't match the election night count? That means you're going to need to retally. So we talked about your first time through, your slash marks are going to all go one direction, depending which your right hand or left hand goes. All one direction, and if you need to retally, then you're going to tally, you're going to slash the opposite direction, which actually will be crossing it off. We tally up to 3 times, and so if we have to go to a 3rd time, and don't be surprised, that could happen, then you're going to use a colored pencil to make a slash mark. I already know that on the top of your tally sheet there, where they added ballots, we already know this came up, that you're probably going to have more than 250, so I'm going to print some add-ons for that, so you can continue tallying and not have to have another sheet. So we're going to work on that after you guys get started. Any other questions? And just be sure and ask questions. We're going to circulate as you start off. And I think it's up to Deborah to talk about that. What else?
Thanks, Holly. Thanks, everybody. I'd like to thank my staff for the excellent job they've done in getting this all organized and for the full training session that you had this morning. How many of you are doing this for the first time? Oh, quite a few of you. Okay. Well, just a little bit of word of explanation about what this process is all about. This process has been part of the elections code forever and ever, basically since we started using computers in elections. And that even precedes me, if you can believe it. But we started doing this in California when we introduced computers in elections as a way of checking whether or not the computers were programmed accurately. And this isn't the only check that we do on that particular process. The really important check that we do to make sure that we've programmed everything appropriately when we're first laying out the election is what we call our logic testing. And that logic testing process says, does a vote for candidate A get recorded through the system as a vote for candidate A? Okay. And we go through that testing for several weeks, and it's a pretty extensive test process. And we even do at the conclusion of that, we do what we call a logic and accuracy test for observers, members of the public, grand jury, League of Women Voters, and so forth. That really tells us, or it tells me, once we finish that test, I feel pretty confident that the equipment is working the way it's supposed to be working, and that everything has been programmed to count the votes for the proper candidate. But your job here today and over the next couple of days is to make sure, again, that is the case. So by law, we draw precincts equal to 1% of the total number of precincts, which in this case is 17. And we go through and we're doing the hand tally that you're going through today. So again, the purpose is to say, did the machine count the way it was programmed to do? And there's some confusion in this process about a recount. Now, a recount gets into, oh my goodness, the voter voted for 2 candidates and they crossed one out, and maybe they initialed it, or maybe they didn't, or maybe they even signed the ballot, or they did something really strange. Okay? Then there has to be an adjudication of that particular vote. And that's the supervisor's role, it's my role, that adjudication process. That's really not what we're about today. And that's when you've got lawyers in here and candidates on both sides, and you've got a very close race. What we're doing today is we're saying, did the machine count the way it was programmed to do? So you're going to see where maybe somebody has voted in a vote for 1, they'll vote for 2 candidates. Okay? The machine would see that as an overvote. to determine whether the machine is properly programmed, we would have to look at that and say, that's an overvote. Okay? So we're not trying to say, what did the voter intend to do here, just did the machine count it properly. So that's really what this process is all about. Okay? So I just wanted to clear that up a little bit. Any questions regarding that? I think you'll probably see, as you get into this process and as we see live examples, that will probably become clear to you what I'm trying to explain. Okay?
And Linda, you mentioned you had a few questions.
Yeah, I think that should, I don't know that it's, germane to.
Yeah, okay. Then we're gonna go ahead and begin. Everyone's gonna go ahead and open their ballot boxes and remove your ballot.
Hi.
What the heck, there's something allergic to it here. I had a cold middle of the week. I got over it over the weekend.
We were all called to go to the something terrible.
I smell it. Oh, it's all like this.
Ballot,
13.
nonpartisan. 91.
You don't have to put them in order. I only did it because they did it at first over there. All right. That's the, I'll take that. Check. Democratic ballot, 91. Ballot, 3, check. 92 is no. 3, check. Okay, it's a Democrat. 94, 93 is no. We say present check. 94 is yes. 2, check. Okay, 95 is yes. Okay, Democrat, check. 96 is yes. 2, check. Prop 91, 2, check. 4, yes.
3.
Ballot,
1.
stop now. Yes.
2.
Ballot, 4, check. Republican, yes. Mitt Romney, popular president. Thank you. Okay, Mitt Romney, yes, check. Proposition 91, 4, check. 92, 4, check. 93, yes. 2, check. 91, yes. Republic 3, check. 95, yes. 3, check. 96, yes.
4.
3, check. 97, yes. 3, check.
2.
What is president? Ballot, 5, check.
1.
Mitt Romney, check. 2, check. 91, Prop 91, yes. 5,
1.
check. 92, check.
1.
93,
2.
3, check. 94,
1.
2, 3, check. 95, 2, check. 96, 2, check. 97, 2, check. Ballot 5, Democrat.
1.
2, 96. Ballot 6, check. 97, Democrat.
Ballot 5.
2, check. Ballot. State props 91, yes. Check.
3.
6, check. 93, yes. Check. 3, check. 94, yes. Check. 95, yes.
2.
Check. 96, yes. Check. 97, yes. Check.
4. 3. 4.
This ballot. 7, check. Democratic. 96. Oh, I'm sorry. Hillary Clinton.
6. 2.
Check. Okay, proposition 91 is a no vote. 6, check. 6 for no vote. Republican. There was no vote. There was no vote for the I think I have 6. Oh, you said no? You said no vote, I'm sorry.
Okay. What did you
Okay,
get?
91 is a no vote.
Okay, it's blank. It's no. Correct.
No, wait, this is, okay, let's read it over. 91, they did not vote on it. So you say blank. Undervote, that's what you say.
No, under blank. It's blank.
It's blank.
You said blank. So what did
No,
you
there's a blank sign under, so you're gonna say blank.
Okay, let's see if you have a question.
You say blank or undervote? You say under or blank? Okay, say under or blank?
That's okay. Down here, we'll see, on the tally sheets, underneath the column. You're thinking, count your votes for if you have a vote for or a mailing vote. We have none. Mailing vote. Okay, so that's a blank.
She said 91. No. Six. And she says check. And then we realize it's a mistake. Can't we go erase it?
And make it a blank. It's on your vote.
Okay, so not 91. No is the last one should be 5.
Correct. Check.
That's what they want to see if we can touch it.
Yeah.
So, and then blank. 1.
Check.
Thank you.
Yep, there you go.
92 is yes.
7.
93 is yes. Wait. 92?
Okay.
2. Yes, yes. Check.
Okay. 4.
Check. 94 is yes. 5. Check. Check. 96 is yes. Check. Check. Made it. Okay, we got ballot.
8.
Check. It's the 95.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton. 4. Check.
9.
91 is blank.
2.
Check. 92 is no.
8.
93.
Wait.
I do not have ballot. I'm on 7, but I have 2.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason we previously we put. Okay. 2. No. 7.
Check.
That's it.
Check.
5.
94 is blank.
5.
94 is 91.
Check. 95 is blank.
5. 3.
Check.
5.
96 is blank. Check.
4. 5.
97 is blank. Check.
4. 6.
Okay, ballot.
9.
Check.
10. 4.
Barack Obama. President. Ballot.
What was it with that?
He's Democratic.
No, Democratic.
Democratic. Clinton.
2. 5.
And so that's what I
Check.
6.
Yes, because
If you feel like going too fast, stop. You just say you're back.
no, you're the one. Just be nervous all over, especially with the camera on that front.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's better not to try to speak. That's what you're talking
11. 4.
it's true. Okay.
No, we did
No,
not.
no, Barack Obama.
Oh, Barack Obama, president.
Okay.
All right, so state property, 71.
6.
Check. Ballot. 92 is yes. Check. Obama.
6.
Check. 94 is no. 93. Check. 95.
3.
Check. 96 is no. 3. Check. 3. Check.
Good.
94.
About 10.
Check. Republican.
95. Blank.
7.
Mitt Romney.
3.
97.
Blank.
Check.
1.
3.
5. 10.
Check.
Okay.
Democratic, Obama.
Say no.
Not yet.
5 page.
Oh, thank you. 4, check. Check. 91. No.
5.
Check.
94.
Two. Okay.
Wait, hold on. 95.
Check. 94.
5.
Check.
11.
Check. Democratic, Obama.
5.
Check.
96. 6.
Check.
5.
Check.
5.
Check.
6.
Check.
6. 8. 6.
Check.
92. 94. Yes. 7. 95. 36. Yes. 97.
94, yes. 95, yes.
Ballot.
Check.
Republican.
96, yes. 97,
Ron.
ballot.
Crop. 91.
Democrat,
Yes.
Check.
92.
91, yes.
93.
92, yes.
Yes.
93, no.
94. Yes.
94, yes.
95. Yes.
95, yes.
96. Yes.
97,
97. Yes.
ballot.
Ballot. Republican.
Democrat,
14.
91, no.
President. Blank.
92, yes.
91. Crop. 91. 1 no.
94, yes.
92. Yes.
95, yes.
93. Yes.
96, yes.
94.
97, yes.
95. 6. Yes. 96. Yes. 8. 97. Yes.
91, yes. 92, no.
8. Ballot. Republican. 8.
94, yes.
Rob.
95, yes.
6. 15.
96,
Crop.
yes.
91. Yes.
97, yes.
3. 82.
Ballot.
No.
Check.
Democrat,
93. Yes.
91 no.
94, yes.
Okay.
95, yes. 8, 96,
92 yes.
97, yes.
93 yes.
9,
94 no. 95 no. 96
Ballot,
no.
Republican,
97
write-in,
ballot. Republican Congress. 91 yes.
9,
17 yes. 92 yes. 93 no. 94 yes.
91. Prop 91, yes.
93 no.
92, no. 93, yes.
94 yes.
96,
97
yes.
yes. Ballot.
Republican. John McCain.
91 no.
Prop 91. Yes. 92.
93 no. 94 yes. 95 yes.
94. Yes.
96 yes.
95.
97 ballot. 91 yes. 93 yes.
16, I'm sorry.
94 yes.
Prop 91, yes.
95 yes.
92, no.
96 yes.
90%, no.
Ballot.
94, yes.
Write-in.
95,
It's American Independent.
96, yes.
Mitt Romney.
87, yes.
And then when I write it, the last one yeah, with American Independent. And then I'll put in 91. No.
Prop 92, no.
92 no.
92, yes.
93 no. 94 no. 95 no. 96 no. 97 no. Ballot.
95, yes.
Democrat Clinton.
96, yes.
91 blank.
97,
92 blank. 93 blank. 94 blank. 95 blank. 96 blank. 97 blank.
91, yes.
Ballot.
92, yes.
Republican Romney.
93, yes. 94, yes.
91 yes.
95, yes.
92 yes.
96,
93 no.
97, yes.
94 yes. 95 yes.
Ballot.
96 yes.
Blank.
97 yes. Ballot.
Prop. No.
Republican McCain,
92. No.
92, no.
93.
91, no. 92, no. 93, yes.
96. Yes.
94, no.
97.
95, no. 96, no. 97, no. Ballot? Democrat? Blank. 91, no.
91. No. 92. No.
92, no.
93. No.
93, no.
94. No.
94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no. Ballot? Democrat Obama? 91, no.
1.
92, no. 93, no.
Prop. 91. Yes.
94, no.
92. Yes.
95, no.
93.
96, no. 97, no.
94.
Ballot?
95.
Republican Romney?
97.
91, yes. 92, yes. 93, yes.
John O'Hain.
94, yes.
Prop.
95, yes.
No. 10.
96, yes.
92. Yes.
97, yes.
93. No.
Ballot?
94. Yes.
39,
Republican McCain?
96. Yes. 97.
91, no. 92, no. 93, no.
1.
94, no.
John McCain.
95, no. 96, no. 97, no.
92. Yes.
Ballot?
93. No.
Republican McCain? 91, yes.
92.
92, no.
96. Yes.
93, no. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no. Ballot? Nonpartisan, no presidential candidate.
92. Yes.
91, yes.
93.
92, yes. 93, no.
I'm sorry. 94. No.
94, yes. 95, yes. 96, yes.
6. No.
97, yes.
97. Yes.
Ballot? Republican Romney?
Yeah. Right here. Ballot.
91, yes. 92, yes.
Right.
93, yes. 94, yes. 95, yes. 96 yes. 97 yes. Ballot,
91.
Republican, blank. 91 yes. 92 yes. 93 yes. 94 yes. 95 yes. 96 yes. 97 yes. Ballot. Nonpartisan, no presidential. 91 yes. 92 yes. 93 yes. 94 no. 90. Did I say 94 no? Okay, 95 no. 96 no. 97 no. Ballot. Democrat Clinton. 91 no. 92 yes. 93 yes. 94 yes. 95 yes. 96 yes. 97 yes. Ballot. Democrat write-in.
6. I need to hear checks on the 4 checks. Check. 92 yes. 4 yes.
91 no. 92 no. 93 no. 94 yes. 95
Check.
yes. 96 yes.
5.
97
5 yes.
ballot.
96 yes. 87 yes.
91 yes. 92 yes.
5 yes right here.
93 yes.
3.
94 yes.
4. Check.
95 yes.
Roll ready. Ready to rock and roll down here. We're all into this. Check.
Republican Mitt Romney.
So much easier.
91 yes. 92 yes. 93 yes. 94 no. 95 no. 96 no. 97 no. Ballot. Republican Ron Paul.
Top of the page of the red.
91 no. 82 no. 93 no. 94 no. 95 no. 96 no.
Check.
97, no. Ballot.
Check.
Republican, Mitt Romney. 91, no. 92, yes.
Check.
93, no. 94, yes. 95, yes. 96, no. 97, yes. Ballot. Republican, Mitt Romney. 91, yes. 92, yes. 93, yes. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no. Republican, Mitt Romney. 91, no. 92, no. 93, no. 94, yes. 95, yes. 96, yes. 97, yes. Ballot. Republican, Mitt Romney. 91, yes. 92, no. 93, no. 94, no. 95, no.
Could you call it out?
97, no.
7.
We won't count this. This will be the ballot. Check.
No, it's okay. Ballot. McCain. Republican.
91, no.
91, yes. Yes. 92, yes. 93, yes. 94, yes. 95, yes. 96, yes. 97, yes.
Ballot.
Ballot. President Mitt Romney. 91, yes. 92, no. 93, no. 94, yes. 95, yes. 96, yes. 97, yes. 91, So Republican, John King, 91, yes. 92, no. 93, no. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no. 91, no. 92, yes. 93, yes. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no. 92. Republican, Miss Romney. 91, yes. 92, no. 91, yes. 93. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no.
Sorry, the last one is yellow.
Republican, John King. 91, yes. 92, yes. 93, yes. 94, yes. 95, yes. 96, yes. 97, yes.
5.
Republican Mitt Romney. 91, no. 92, no. 93, no. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no.
94,
Republican, John. 91, yes. 92, blank. 93, no. 94, no. 95, no. 96, no. 97, no. Yeah, two. You get two? Two, and then the last one. I didn't hear you. That's why I'm like,
Check.
valid? Yeah, you get to the point where you're like,
It's like fun out loud.
Republican John McCain. 91 no.
Check.
92 no.
Check.
93 yes.
Check.
94 yes.
Check.
Yes. 95 yes.
Check.
96 yes. 97 yes. Valid. John McCain, Republican. 91 yes. 92 yes. 93 yes.
Check.
94 no. 95 no. 96 no. 97 no. Valid. Republican Mitt Romney. 91 no. 92 no. 93 no. 94 no. 95 no. 96 no. 97 no.
Check.
Republican John McCain. 81 yes. 92 no. 93 yes. 94 no.
Check.
95 no. 96 no. 97 no.
50.
President Mitt Romney.
7.
91 yes.
9.
92 no. 93 no. 94 no. 95 no. 96 no. 97 no.
91 no. 93 no. 93 no. 95 check. 96 no.
Check.
97 yes. 51.
Check.
Republican Mitt Romney.
Check.
8.
91 no.
Check.
92, no.
4.
93, yes.
3.
94, no.
Check.
95, no.
Check.
96, no.
9. Check.
97, no.
7.
John McCain. Second.
9.
91, yes.
91, yes.
Yes. 92, no. 93, yes.
4.
94, yes. 5,
4.
96, yes.
2.
97, yes.
4.
51.
Only 33% is in there, it's just.
What about when it goes outside? I know, it doesn't get. Mitt Romney, Republican. 91, yes. 92, blank. 93, blank.
3.
4, no. 95, blank. 96, blank. 97, blank. You get
How
tired?
much signed up for?
Whatever you guys want to switch, just put it on. Ballot?
4.
President? John McCain. 91, blank.